Now, I'm sure if you're reading the title of this video, you are going to be a little bit confused as of what is there actually to explain about Mercy and Vigor Inlays. Well, today I'm actually going to show you that both of those don't work as most of you thought they do. Now, before we start, I would like to give a big shout out to my long-time friend Ray BR that gave me idea for this video, as he faced a few days ago really big discussion how mercies are the very worst inlays in the game right now. However, a lot of people are just refusing to read and understand and test how actually all of the inlays work. So therefore, I'm going to be explaining to you from my experience and understanding how they actually work. So first off, we are going to start with Mercy Inlays because they are probably the main topic of this whole charade that's going on, that they are just horrible. Now, one big thing with Mercy Inlays is that they didn't work properly up until the last big update that we got in December, when we got the last boss for DR, as they just didn't work nor in caves, nor in PK. Pretty much they didn't work anywhere. So they finally fixed it. They slightly saw increase in use, but it's nowhere near because people just refuse to understand how they actually work. That's why I'm going to explain to you now. So we are going to take an example from my inlays, but you can pretty much take the numbers and example from your inlays too. It's just depending on which rarity they are. So first of all, what does the Mercy do? Mercy will take a damage absorb for you. So what does that mean? For each hit that you take, you are going to take that much damage less. Now, keep in mind, it works for fire, water, poison, lightning and Buddha. So pretty much it's for all the elemental damage. It's not for physical damage. And why I say this? It's because I'm going to use notepad here because we are probably going to need it. Now, yellow numbers are magic damage, and physical numbers are white damage, and I'm going to explain to you now. Let's say, if you see here, I'm going to use one of my attacks here. Well, actually this was a mortal. Let's try again. As you can see, yellow number, this is a magic damage. Now I'm going to use an aura attack, and you will see that it's going to pop out in the white number. See? It popped out in a white number. So that's the major understanding that you need to be aware when you're using Mercy Inlays. They only absorb the magic damage. Now, when and where they are beneficial. The whole idea to use them is you want them when you are taking a bunch of hits at the same time. So let's say, for example, you lure a bunch of mobs in cave. You take over 100 hits guaranteed from each mob. If you lure like 15 or 20 of them, if they hit you like 4 to 5 times, that's roughly 100 hits. So for each hit, you are going to absorb the specific amount of damage that one Mercy gives you. Now, keep in mind, Mercies do stack one on top of another. So collectively, let's take an example from mine, Mystic Mercy. So this one is 35 damage absorb. So 35, and for one character you need 6 Mercy gems because that's the only amount of slots that are there equipable on. So 35 times 6, I'm going to pull out the calculator real quick. 35 times 6 is 210. So you are going to take 210 damage absorb for each hit if you have full Mystic Mercies on. So be mindful of that. Now, one big difference is damage absorb mechanic and elemental defense, elemental resistance actually, are the two completely different mechanics. Now, why? This works in percentages. So let's say you take 1000 damage, and this one will decrease your damage, in my example, for 50%. So minus 50%, and 50% of 1000 is 500 damage. So with damage absorb, if you take also 1000 damage, so I'm going to put this on bottom, you don't get percentage based decrease, you get a straight number decrease. As you can see, in this case would be 210. So minus 210 would end up as 790 damage absorb, and this is just a resistance. Also, this resistance also work on magic damage as resistance, because on physical hits, for that you have your actual physical defense, and you also get a block and dodge converted into your defense, which I'll explain in one of future videos how both of those mechanics individually work. So now that we know that, those are two completely different mechanics and they do completely different. So where and when are the mercies the best to use? They are the best to use, again, as I mentioned before, if you are a tank, if you take a bunch of hits, and if you are facing a magic damage boss that does a lot of magic hits, which you will see, especially if you're a tank or a monk, you will see if your hits don't block as often or dodge as often, that means that boss is mostly attacking with his magic attacks, and AoE attacks usually on most bosses are the magic damage. That's why they are unblockable, and that's why a lot of people early on die from them. So those are very two important things to understand. Now, another case when mercies are really beneficial are when, let's say, you are in a war for Phoenix City and you are a palace sealer, and you take, like, while you seal, you probably take almost 1000, if not over 1000 hits during the 2-minute duration that you have to seal. So if you are a monk sealer, originally you want as much mercy inlays as possible, because you are going to absorb that specific amount of damage from all the attacks, which again you are going to take over 1000 most likely, because 2-minute period is a really long time and there's really a bunch of skills that get used on you and from which you get attacked. Now also, there's a third point when mercies are really useful, and that's when you start really early on game. Now why is that? Really early on game you take small number of hits and you take really small amount of damage. Let's say, like, from these mobs you are going to maybe take like 30-40 damage, and if you put mercies right on from the very start, you're going to have much easier time doing quests alone. You will have to ask way less for help, and eventually you are just going to level up faster and progress faster, because the numbers do matter, especially early on in game, because for the start those are really big numbers. Again, you take small hits, if you take smaller hits you heal absorb a lot more, so naturally you're going to take way less damage and it's going to be just easier for you. So key points is when you want to again use mercies is if you are tank for caves, if you are blood palace sealer, and really early on in game. when you start leveling, like maybe I would say up to level 70. Up until that point, Mercies are way better than Vigors for inlays. And you will see soon why when I explain how actually Vigors work, which is absolutely nothing alike what most of you think. Okay, so let me put real quick my Mercy. Let me see where it was even. I don't even know where it was. Okay, it was here. Okay, so I hope that was really clear on how do Mercies work and when they are actually good. Now, as for Vigors. Now, first of all, again, we have two different mechanics. Max HP and Vitality. Max HP is a percentage modifier by which you, let me put it here. So again, max HP is a percentage modifier by which your total health gets converted and adjusted when you equip specific part of a gear. And Vitality is straight. As you can see, it's a direct HP increase. Now, how does this work? One Vitality point is equal to 5 HP. So, 1 Vitality is equal to 5 HP actually. And here, I'm going to give you an example. I have to swap around the gear real quick to make it obvious because I don't want to have any health modifiers on that, and I'll explain to you in a little bit why. So, as we can see here, my health is 20,222, so we are going to put that number in to 20,222. And if I were to, so this number is not Vitality number, keep in mind. This is a HP number. It's very important to understand that. So if I were to take out a bar that gives, I'm going to find a, again, I'm going to also take out this. Well, actually, I don't need to. Let me find something that gives small weight. Actually, it doesn't matter. Let me just, yeah, I'll take out Diamond Sutra. So that's minus 179 Vitality, and my HP goes down to 19,327. 19,327, is that correct? Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so if we take these two numbers and make a difference, we end up as 20,222 minus 19,327 is 895. So 895. Okay. Now, we said here that this Diamond Sutra carries a 179 Vitality. So this is HP loss and 179 Vitality. So if we take now 179 Vitality and multiply it by 5, because we said one Vitality point is 5 HP. So if we take 179 Vitality and multiply it by 5, we should get exactly 195 HP. So 1 Vitality is equal to 5 HP. That makes sense, right? So we explain how that works. Now, Inlays, Vigors. So what they do is they increase, if we read here, they only increase your max HP. So they are going to modify your number here, not the Vitality. Because again, two different mechanics that work completely different. So let's see here, 18,325. And if we add this 207, actually let me write down this number, 18,325. 18,325, is that correct? Yep. And if we add on the 207 HP from the, actually need to be a plus 207 HP from Mystic. We should get 18,325 plus 207 comes down to 18,532. So let's equip now and see what the number is. Actually, it changes value, and I will explain now why it does change value. Actually, no. This is just... Oh, my bad. My bad, I did this wrong. I should have taken the number, so don't mind this. So we are going to take actually this number, 20,015, because now I don't have any HP modifier. So we are going to remove this number. So actually the number is 20,015. Okay, 20,015 plus 207 again, because that's how much my Mystic Vigor gives, should be 20,302, actually 222, right? Let me just make sure on calculator. 20,015 plus 207 comes down, yeah, 20,222. Okay, so let's equip and let's see what the number will pop out now. Okay, we put it on. Exactly, see, 20,222. So amount of Vigor Inlay gives that it says it gives is correct. Now, where does the trick with this? The trick comes in the modifier on gear. If we look at here, I'm going to now swap to my original gear. And if you see, this is 30,414. So my current health with the gear that I use most commonly is 30,414. Now, if I were to take out only this one Vigor from belt, let's say, let's see, we take it out, it gives 128 max HP. So 128 HP if we take it out, so that should give us a number from 30,414 minus 128 equals to 30,286. That's the number it should give now once I equip it. And let's see what happens. It actually gives 30,222. So it's 30,222. Now, why is that? The plus that you get, the bonus, when you combine gear from plus 7, as you can see here, on plus 7 you get plus 10% HP. That bonus is calculated individually into each Vigor Inlay that you equip on that specific part of a gear. So let's make out the difference here. Now, difference here is 30,286 minus 30,222, which comes down to 64. So this was the planned number it should give, actually take away, when we strip out that inlay. But it stripped out extra 64. So we're going to add this number, actually plus 64, which will give us number from, let's add that, 128. So it's actually 192 HP that the inlay gave. So what is the logic behind all of this? Vigor will give you more HP from itself if you equip it on a higher plus gear. So let's say this right here on plus 7 gear, when you equip one Vigor, it gives you it comes down to plus 50% HP that it gives by its default number. If you can see here, default number here is 128. So that only comes down to plus 7. Now, if we go and find on the ranking list what is the max bonus, you see 20% HP is the max on a plus 12. So if this number is calculated for only equipped for a, hold on, this is only for a, I gotta spread out this, let me see, this goes down. Okay, so this one was for 50%, so plus 7 gear gives you bonus of 50% HP per inlay. Okay, hope that makes sense. And that's only on 10% bonus on plus of gear. So, what does that mean? That means on plus 12 you get a 20% of HP bonus. So this means if plus 7 is 10% HP bonus, plus 12 equals 20% HP bonus. So that automatically causes this inlay, this 128, to double up actually, when you equip it on plus 12 gear. As you can see, this is a double the value that you get from plus 7 equipping to plus 12 equipping. So if here it was value, hold on, here value was here value was 50%, here it was going to be 100%. So if you equip here an inlay, it's going to give you a double amount of this. So it's not going to give you any longer 128, but it's going to give you actually 256 as a super inlay. So pretty much it scales down, scales up actually for every plus, because this right here, this plus 7 on gear, modifies your total HP per the current amount that you have, and that also counts in a Vigor Inlay bonus. So pretty much the conclusion here is, the higher plus of the gear you have, the more bonus from each Vigor you are going to get in HP in the end. And this is the same way that this robust spell for monks work. The more health, hit points actually, you have here, the more you are going to get HP bonus from this skill over here. Now, with that being now understood, where they are good. They are good for damagers that really don't tank. They're good for PvP. They're good for majority of activities, as most people assumed, but not in such amount that everyone currently uses it. As I explained, Mercies have its own place where they are exceptional and where they work way better than Vigor Inlays. So whole point is I'm trying to make here is that Mercies are way more useful than they appear to be. And this is why many people always wondered why I don't push Vigors a lot. As you can see here, if we equip this one too, you are going to see here that my Vigors are only all at super, like here super, Here super, here super, here super, here super. This one was the only exception as I had extra resources, so I said, why not? Let's make it. So the whole point of this I'm trying to make, again, you must remember, the bigger plus you have on gear, the better benefit of health you're going to get from Vigor Inlays. That's really important. So if you have low plus like me, +7, you really don't need above elite or super vigors to push. It's just not going to perform that well, and you're just going to be disappointed in the bonus of numbers that it gives you in the end. So that's that. Also, this would be a great time to understand, like, I understand the general public, like the ratio of current use of vigors right now is like 95 to 5% inlays, like if you compare Vigor versus Mercy, but conceptually how I've explained you and how they are the most optimal to use, it should be like 70% of use in Vigor and 30% of Mercy, because again, each inlay has its use and when it's best used. So I hope that all makes sense and that it's going to help out some people better utilize Mercy Inlays and not just judge by who says what and by some general opinions that have never been researched or explored. Okay, now with that being said, I would like to thank everyone for watching and taking the time from the daily work and stuff to watch the video, like and subscribe. So if you have any more suggestions about any videos I should make, feel free to leave it down in the comments below. Also, if you found this video informative, please leave it a like, share and subscribe so that more people are aware what and how they are playing, so they can really better optimize and understand what are they actually doing. And with that being said, thank you everyone again and have a good one. Take care.